son of a bitch! You learned nothing! You learned nothing about sharing! SpongeBob didn't need to learn anything about sharing. He knew about sharing. You, Mr. Star, learned nothing! You see what this episode does to me? I get so fucking mad when I see this episode! I want to die! I want to die! I want to die! I want to die! That clip you just saw was from my first SpongeBob countdown, which was my top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes, which was inspired by Mobro Studios. That came out June 4th, 2013. And yeah, it's unbelievable that that video came out a year and a half ago. So, yeah. Welcome to my 500th video, everyone. Yeah. So, for my SpongeBob countdowns, this is gonna be the finale. Okay? I decided to end on a high note with these, because, well, you know, start out with the worst, and now we're ending with the best. Now, for every bad SpongeBob episode, there's a good episode, and I mean really good. Like, so many people have, you know, their own favorite episodes. If one of your favorite episodes isn't in the list, or you have your own list of favorite SpongeBob episodes, mention them in the comments below. So, with that being said, let's get started. Alright, coming in at number 20 is Wreath Blower, the second episode to air for SpongeBob, and it was a silent short. So, how does this play out? Well, it's a beautiful day in Bikini Bottom. Squidward comes outside, sees how nice and shiny his lawn is, but then he sees a shell is on his lawn, and he doesn't like that. He looks around and just kicks the shell onto SpongeBob's lawn. SpongeBob comes out, and he doesn't like it, so he gets out his Wreath Blower, and Squidward's aware that he has the annoying machine on. So, SpongeBob tries to get the shell off, but not really, and then he gives it too much power, and a bunch of sand flies onto Squidward, which SpongeBob blows off, and Squidward was also eating a salad at that point, and SpongeBob also cleans up Squidward's salad, and his eyes. Then he sees the shell and is like, "You," which is the closest thing to dialogue that this episode has, which is actually pretty funny. And he puts it on reverse and sucks it up. But, well, the Wreath Blower doesn't really accept it that much. He throws it back in and tries to start it up. And he pulls it so far back that he ends up sucking all the water in the ocean. Squidward is suffocating, and SpongeBob's just looking at his Wreath Blower, and it explodes, and there's just mounds of sand everywhere. And SpongeBob gets out of a mound of sand, and his lawn is clean, and it ends with Squidward being in a mound of sand and the shells on his nose. This episode is just funny, it's quick, and, well, some might argue that it's Squidward torture. No, this is just, you know, typical neighbor stuff, cartoony style. It's not like SpongeBob was trying to torment Squidward in any way. So, yeah, there's that. At number 19 is Wormy. SpongeBob and Patrick are being hired by Sandy to watch over her pets. She shows, like, a few of them, like the bird, like her parrot, and also her snake, and some other ones, and then she leaves, but SpongeBob asks about this one that, well, Sandy forgot to tell him about, and she says that it's Wormy, and he doesn't really do much. So, essentially, he's kind of like Perry the Platypus. And SpongeBob and Patrick have a lot of fun with him, along with the song, "That's what friends do, oh, that's what friends do, that's what friends do, oh, that's what friends do." And then SpongeBob and Patrick give Wormy a best friends ribbon, but overnight, Wormy turns into a butterfly. And next morning when SpongeBob and Patrick come to the tree dome, Wormy's not there. It's now this thing that they have no idea what it is. They let Wormy out, and it gets close up to their helmets, and well, a lot of people are scared by this, but I don't know. I think it adds a little bit of something to the story, and also, gives a reason why they would be scared of this. Unlike some stupid where it's just flying around. This close-up actually, makes their fears identifiable. So SpongeBob captures it in a bubble after various attempts to trap it, but then it's heading to the Krusty Krab, and they, warn the Krusty Krab, but, well, kind of fail, and Mr. Krabs and Squidward suddenly disappear, and SpongeBob and Patrick decide to go out and warn Bikini Bottom. The whole town is scared, and everything's on fire, and when Sandy gets back, she says that it looked like a twister hit the place, and she sees Wormy, captures him, and everyone in Bikini Bottom is happy, because Sandy caught the monster! And the episode ends. This is also fun. Some people might be scared by the close-ups of butterflies, but, like I said, it gives the sea creatures a reason to be scared. If it was just, the thing flying around like, ooh, I'm a pretty butterfly, then this episode would not be so good. So yeah, what's next? The first ever Halloween special, Scaredypants, is at number 18. This episode is, of course, from Season 1, and shows that SpongeBob does kind of get scared easily. Since that hadn't been, shown, like, SpongeBob being scared or being put in scary situations, this makes sense to do. So when SpongeBob's doing dishes, he gets a little creeped out, and Mr. Krabs tells him the story about the Flying Dutchman and how he steals people's souls. And Squidward, dressed up as Flying Dutchman, scares the shit out of SpongeBob. And SpongeBob walks home irritated, and gets scared by various people along the way. A little kid and Mrs. Puff. And while he's carving a giant jack-o'-lantern, he's trying to figure out how not to get scared. Patrick comes to the door and, well, scares the shit out of SpongeBob, even though he's just wearing glasses and a nose with a mustache. That means SpongeBob is really scared. So Patrick decides that SpongeBob needs a costume, and SpongeBob dresses up as the Flying Dutchman, though it's a simple, ghost sheet, and he fails to scare some trick-or-treaters, and then when Patrick makes a hand puppet ghost, SpongeBob gets an idea to be round and look more like a ghost, which he does, thanks to Patrick shaving off parts of him. And then SpongeBob and Patrick go out and try to scare people, and it's quite hilarious how they do it. Rawr, rawr, I'm the Flying Dutchman. Oh, I'm the Flying Dutchman's best friend. After, actually failing to scare people, they decide to try to scare people at the Krusty Krab, and, they turn out the lights, and at first, they succeed until Patrick gets stung by a jellyfish, and the line that he was holding that was attached to SpongeBob swings SpongeBob around, and people find out that that's not a ghost, it's SpongeBob. And then when people are laughing at a Flying Dutchman, Flying Doofus, the real Flying Dutchman comes and scares the shit out of everyone. And wants to steal people's souls, and has a strict talking to SpongeBob in terms of just how bad his costume is and how unscary he is. So then after that, the Dutchman takes off SpongeBob's costume, and underneath, he gets scared. All that's left of SpongeBob is just a little rod of him and his brain, which also scares the shit out of people, and scares the shit out of Patrick. But don't worry, it'll grow back. This episode is funny, and also one of the best Halloween specials out there. It's just pretty good. I don't know what else to say about this. What's next? The Krusty Krab training video comes at number 17. Quite frankly, it's, what the title says, the Krusty Krab training video. Though there are some interesting things, like the narrator is pretty funny, like, congratulations! And SpongeBob, so eager, like, can I make a Krabby Patty now? And narrator keeps saying, oh no, and with giraffe instead of graph, which is kind of funny. And talking a little bit about Mr. Krabs and his past history and how he became the successful guy he is today. and then how Krabs, made the Krusty Krab, although this is kind of destroyed in a later episode when Mr. Krabs' grandpa comes, but that's another story for another day. Actually, no, that's probably not going to happen because this is it, people. And, well, for the rest of it, there are other things like the description of employees: poise, elegant, confident, and a smile that says, "Hello, world, may I take your order?" And then Squidward: inattentive, impatient, a glaring look in the eye. Look closely at the "I really wish I weren't here right now" button. There are names for employees like this, but we'll call him Squidward. And then the other one, poop. People order our patties. And in a bit, there's a subplot with Patrick ordering at the register and kinda goes a little bit overboard with Patrick's stupidity, but it doesn't go too long where it just gets irritating. And also a bit with Plankton. And towards the end, SpongeBob's about to get the secret formula revealed to him, and, well, it cuts off. Guys, we already know what the formula is. Patty, eat cheese, pickles, onion, tomato, lettuce, onto seaweed seed buns. So yeah, I do like this episode. It is very entertaining. SpongeBob Meets the Strangler is one of the last episodes from Season 3. SpongeBob has to go outside the Krusty Krab and pick up some trash. And then all of a sudden he sees all these wrappers just popping out of nowhere, and he's wondering, where is all this litter coming from? And he sees this one guy just throwing litter on the ground, and he confronts the guy. He's like, "Sir, it's against the law to litter." He's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do, call the police?" And then all of a sudden the police show up. It's like, yes. And you see the police putting handcuffs all over this guy. And then Squidward wants to see what SpongeBob's doing. And, well, SpongeBob's like, "You guys, just desserts." And then Squidward recognizes the guy and says that it's the Telltale Strangler, and that he strangles anybody that turns him in. And, well, SpongeBob is at first a little scared, and Squidward also books because, well, it's the fucking Telltale Strangler. And he's a little worried. SpongeBob's like to the officers, "He's going to jail, right?" And he then sees Strangler draw a picture of SpongeBob on the back of the seat in the police car and strangles it. And also, the Strangler gets away. SpongeBob is worried, and the police won't do jack shit because they're not bodyguards. And for a while, there's a montage of SpongeBob trying to get a bodyguard, but nobody is willing to do it. He asks Larry the Lobster, who turns into a cooked lobster, a construction worker, and everyone at a tough bar turned him down. And all of a sudden, this one guy that looks kinda like the Strangler, save for that mustache that he has, is willing to help SpongeBob. We all know it's the Strangler trying to get to SpongeBob. And they do a really good job of SpongeBob basically distracting the Strangler from, well, strangling him. Like, SpongeBob doing his errands, and then two surprise parties at SpongeBob's house, and then Patrick finding out that he's the Strangler. And then the Strangler snaps and says that he is the Strangler. And, well, SpongeBob still thinks it's his bodyguard because, well, he's probably forgotten about the Strangler thing, and Strangler tries to get away from SpongeBob, but SpongeBob chases after him, and it's not annoying like a certain other episode where Squidward gets sent to Mrs. Puff's boating school, and SpongeBob realizes that, yeah, that was the Strangler. And, well, it ends with the Strangler being in prison with Patrick. This is a pretty funny episode from start to finish. And, well, though it does kind of show signs of what was to come. I mean, like, the chase scene with the Strangler. I mean, new writers would take that and make it incredibly obnoxious. So yeah, there's that episode. Help Wanted is the first SpongeBob episode to have ever aired, and is basically how SpongeBob got his job at the Krusty Krab. he's, getting ready. He's ready. And, well, he's about to go inside the Krusty Krab, but he's like, I can't do it. Patrick's there and makes SpongeBob's confidence grow. And then Squidward sees SpongeBob while he's cleaning the windows. And, well, Squidward realizes there's a help wanted sign and tells Mr. Krabs that before it's too late. And then SpongeBob comes in, trips over a nail for a bit, and it's cartoony, and it's pretty funny. And then, well, SpongeBob asks Mr. Krabs whether or not he's able to be on the Krusty Krab team. And then Mr. Krabs asks Squidward if he's good enough. Squidward, of course, says no. And to distract SpongeBob, they decide to have him find a spatula with port and starboard attachment and a bunch of other crap. And he can't come back until he gets it. Well, they don't know that they think it doesn't exist. And they're laughing, but then come in anchovies, who are ravenous, hungry people that are like, meep, 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 meep. Squidward and Krabs can't really control the crowd. In fact, they almost get killed. Meanwhile, SpongeBob's at the bargain mart looking for that spatula. And right before Squidward and Mr. Krabs get killed, comes SpongeBob with that spatula, which did exist. Well, I will say this, while I would complain that this kind of comes out of the blue, there was at least build up to whether or not this thing exists, and also the rest of the tone in the episode is cartoony, so this does fit. And then we get a montage of SpongeBob making Krabby Patties, living in the sunlight, having a wonderful time, and feeds all the anchovies. And then Patrick comes in, and he wants a Krabby Patty, and then SpongeBob does the same thing, and, well, the episode ends. Oh, and SpongeBob got the job. This is a very nice opening to a show, and, it sets the characters up, it sets up how the mood of the show is, and just a great introduction to the show. Bubble Stand is a fun episode. It starts off with SpongeBob going outside, and he's like, it's such a peaceful day, and then he starts making a stand, and Squidward complains about all the loud noise, and, well, SpongeBob can't really build the stand with minimal noise, because, well, Squidward needs to practice his clarinet. And then he speeds build and makes a bubble stand. Blow bubbles for 25 cents. Where was like, what kind of idiot would do that? And then Patrick comes and, well, he wants to, though he doesn't have a quarter. SpongeBob just gives him a quarter and Patrick gives it to him back. So basically, Patrick did it for free. Patrick's trying to blow a bubble, and the montage is short and is pretty comedic with how Patrick is going to do with cartoonish effects and eye bulging. And then, well, SpongeBob offers lessons for 25 cents. And, well, SpongeBob shows him the technique.
Go like this. Spin around, stop. Double take 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then have a thrust. Woo! Stop on your right foot. Don't forget it. Now it's time to bring it around town. Bring it around town. Then you do this, then this, and this, then that, and this, and that, and this, and that, and that.
Blows bubbles of various things. Blows like a centipede, blows a boat, and now with 2 hands, an elephant. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's a giraffe. Oh. But then the elephant gets inside Squidward's house and pops, and Squidward is pissed. SpongeBob and Patrick hide, and, well, Squidward comes to the stand. SpongeBob's like, excuse me, sir, but we are closed. And Squidward's like, how the fuck are you doing this? Well, how can you make so much noise just by blowing bubbles? SpongeBob says they're making bubble art, and then does, the technique, which I've already explained. And Squidward tells them that's just annoying blowing bubbles, and tells them that they should be ashamed. And, well, Squidward tries to do it. Before he can do it, SpongeBob and Patrick come out, and SpongeBob says, that'll be 25 cents, please. And, well, Squidward tries to blow a bubble, and, well, keeps wasting many quarters until, well, he does the technique himself, and then he screams a bubble, which, floats away. SpongeBob and Patrick say Squidward's a genius, and Squidward plays the clarinet actually really good until the bubble comes and scoops up his house, and Squidward realizes that he done goofed. And then it pops, and, SpongeBob and Patrick run away because they know they're in trouble. And then Squidward's house lands, and Squidward crappily plays the clarinet again. Again, like I said, this is a fun episode. Just how they make the bubbles, and it's very cartoony, and is just barrels of fun. Oh, we're getting into employee theft right now. At least it was better than when they did suicide, but anyways, it's the shift at the Krusty Krab, and it's the end, and Mr. Krabs is counting the money, but he doesn't see his precious dime, and he thinks Squidward stole it. I mean, he is always at the register, so I guess it would make sense, though. Krabs does, keep trying to make Squidward admit that he stole it. Like, 1, you stole it, 2, you stole it, 3, you stole it, and then Squidward gets so pissed off that, he quits. And, SpongeBob tries to stop Squidward, but Squidward's like, you know what? I can do this shit myself. I can be a football player, or a king, or a spaceman, or a football-playing king in space with a mustache. Not so long later, Squidward is homeless and on the street. SpongeBob does pick him up and takes him into his house, and does take care of Squidward, although it turns out it's a lot of work to take care of Squidward. He's pretty needy, and is a bit of a freeloader, and after a while, SpongeBob gets sick of it. It was so much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting, and they had to hire a new one. And then SpongeBob apparently has a maid outfit for, delivering food for Squidward, and Squidward is pretty pissed, and so is SpongeBob. He's very annoyed at Squidward. It's like that reversal thing. Because, usually Squidward's sick of SpongeBob, now it's SpongeBob being sick of Squidward, and SpongeBob keeps on telling Squidward to get a job, from newspapers, to soup, to a puppet show. Hey, where you going? To my job! You have a job? Well, why wouldn't I? I'm not some inconsiderate jerk that lies in bed all day. Say, where can I get one of these jobs? Oh, they're everywhere, especially if you're green and have 6 tentacles. Thanks. I'm gonna go look for one so I can stop mooching off my friends and they can get back to their lives. And then SpongeBob snaps and pushes Squidward out the door and goes to the Krusty Krab and screams at Krabs to give Squidward his job back because he's been going insane. And he shakes Krabs so much that, apparently his dime comes out. He had it in his pocket the whole time, although one question remains. How did it get in his pocket? And it ends with Squidward and Krabs arguing about how the dime got in his pocket. This is a neat take on some sort of employee situation and doesn't go too realistic. Otherwise, it just wouldn't fit the cartoonish nature. And we already know what happens when SpongeBob tries to do some sort of lesson incredibly realistically and only realistically with no cartoonish stuff in it. So yeah, it's a very good episode. After his debut in Band Geeks, it only made sense for Squilliam to make a return to the show. Number 12 is Squilliam Returns. The episode starts off with Squidward, hating his job and going on his lunch break. But then when he goes out, he sees that Squilliam is impressing a bunch of people that, suck his dick for his money. And Squidward's trying to hide the fact that he still works at the Krusty Krab. And then is confronted by Squilliam. He tries to lie and tries to imagine Squilliam in his underwear, but no, he's hot just in his underwear. Squidward says that he owns a 5-star restaurant, and Squilliam, just to make sure that he's not lying, will come to that restaurant tonight. Squidward, of course, is terrified because, he doesn't own a 5-star restaurant. And then he tries to convince Mr. Krabs to have him run the Krusty Krab for one night to impress Squilliam. And, well, Mr. Krabs gives in when he hears the name Squilliam. And, well, at first they don't really succeed. Like, SpongeBob's trying to become a waiter, and he goes insane because of it. Patrick tries to be one of those people that takes hats, and his first is like a weenie. May I take your hat, sir? And, well, he beats up a coat rack, which, yeah. And Krabs was the chef, but, well, that didn't really turn out well. Mr. Krabs at first said he was the chef on the SS Gourmet, head chef to be exact. But it turns out, well, he cleaned the bathrooms on the Gourmet and was the head chef on the SS Diarrhea. So Squidward goes to SpongeBob as his last resort, and, well, like I said, SpongeBob has lost it. So Squidward tells SpongeBob to empty his mind and think of nothing but fine dining and breathing. Remember, fine dining and breathing. That's actually pretty important. And all those SpongeBob's in SpongeBob's head, you know, do such. They dump everything that has nothing to do with fine dining or breathing. And, well, while it's going on, Squidward is panicking and, you know, is going to run to Squilliam's house and just tells him that he needs more time. But Squilliam is right there at the front door. And Squilliam and friends enter. And, well, it's quite a 5-star restaurant in there. And SpongeBob is a fantastic waiter. And also has Patrick and Mr. Krabs tied up in another room, which is hilarious. And he serves everyone delicious food, like at a 5-star restaurant. And Squidward goes to rub it in Squilliam's face. That, well, it's amazing. And, yeah. Then Squilliam wants to know SpongeBob's name, but remember, just fine dining and breathing, not the name. And all the little SpongeBobs in SpongeBob's head can't figure out the name of SpongeBob because, well, they threw out his name, and SpongeBob's brain breaks. And a lot of hijinks ensues. He spills water on Squilliam, and then, more soup for your armpits. Please enjoy the food. Would you like some cheese on that, sir? And it's just chaos, and then the appetizer that Krabs failed to make is now alive. And, well, it's revealed that Squidward lied, and the episode ends. Yeah, this is pretty good, and Squilliam is awesome in almost every episode he's in. Almost. So yeah, that just leaves us with one more for this video, and it is Imitation Crabs at number 11. Plankton stealing the Krab Pay formula has been going on since Season 1 of SpongeBob, so let's see what new trick he has up his sleeve. Well, this time, Plankton decided to make a robotic suit that looks exactly like Mr. Krabs. And, well, first he tricks Squidward and gives him the rest of the day off, which Squidward agrees to. And SpongeBob thinks that, well, it's Mr. Krabs and wonders why he's so cold and why he's metal. That's so the formula can be protected. And to disguise himself, he's also a transformer and transforms into a toaster. And, well, Plankton does manage to get Krabs out of the Krusty Krab with a penny. And, well, while Krabs is chasing that penny, Plankton wreaks havoc and tries to get the formula from SpongeBob, though he has to do a bunch of ridiculous stuff first. Balance on one foot, put a glass of chocolate milk on our heads, and sing the Bikini Bomb national anthem. And then a bunch of other stuff, like going in a cannon and eating spaghetti. Yum yum, this spaghetti is good. But even after that, you know, no formula yet. Yes, but it turns out the formula is in a bottle. And before Robo Krabs can grab it, here comes Mr. Krabs with the penny, and Mr. Krabs is pissed off that SpongeBob would do such a thing to him. And, well, SpongeBob has a giant cannon of tartar sauce and wants to figure out who is the real Mr. Krabs. And he answers questions like, what time does the Krusty Krab open at? How much does a Krabby Patty cost on Wednesday? And a complex question. Plankton gets the first two right. I mean, he probably would, since he's always spying on the Krusty Krab. And, well, probably has the information out in front of him. Though Mr. Krabs would know, but Plankton was quicker. And, well, SpongeBob thinks that the real Mr. Krabs is the Imitation Crabs, and uses the tartar sauce to blast him into a giant basket filled with fries and other stuff to be fed to the hungry hand. And Plankton thinks he has the formula, but apparently he put in a penny slot self-destruct system, which I find hilarious. It might be a bit of a MacGuffin, but like I said, it's hilarious. And, well, he runs back to the chum bucket and explodes, and thankfully SpongeBob got the formula back and saves Mr. Krabs from being eaten. The episode is pretty funny, and Plankton hijinks works for the most part. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2, and it'll be quite a bang. See ya!
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.